Welcome to the Oopa Loopa Cafe, a place where storytellers gather, where old sailors relive their travels, where shamans and mystics reveal their esoteric secrets, where mammoth are hunted and cave walls are turned into art galleries. Some visitors here bring the detective skills of Sherlock Holmes. Some bring ancient tools found in the backyard. Some bring insights into how ancient people lived, loved, died, and were buried. Much of what you will see and hear in this place you won't find in a history book, but you should. This is the Oopa Loopa Cafe, where the heroes of old come alive and legends live again. A place where history is exciting. A place where adventures begin. Come with us and explore.
And welcome to the Oopa Loopa Cafe here on the 16th of January 2013. I'm your host, Rick Osmond. And today we have a number of great features for you, but our main feature today is this guy right here. And his name is Dennis Crenshaw. Now, Dennis and I have been working together in one fashion or another for, 20 years. And I think I've gotten to know him pretty well in that time, as you will see in the video that's coming up later in the program. Dennis is known as the Hollow Earth guy, or the Hollow Earth insider, hence that's why you've heard the name. And he is probably one of the greatest repositories of Hollow Earth lore, legend, as well as science in the world today. Now, he's not a scientist, he's not an engineer or a technician or any of those things. He's a researcher. So he gathers information. And the information that you will see in today's video, part 1 of 5, regarding the secret diary of Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. Anyway, that's what Dennis is doing in today's program, as well as, 4 more after today, because it's a 5-part series. So I hope you'll enjoy the secret diary of Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd. I've enjoyed working with Dennis, as I said, for 20 years. Now, the day that this was taken, which was back in 2010, Halloween weekend 2010, was the first time that Dennis and I had ever met face to face. We've worked together online for those 2 decades. Wow. Anyway, it was a great time for both of us, as well as some other folks with whom we had worked as a group for quite a bit of that time. And we had never met face to face until that weekend. But it was great to do that finally. We've been on the phone a lot and on email and internet chat, etc. But that was our first time to meet face to face. Now, this guy I still have yet to meet face to face. Chris Hunter, and he is the director of the Edgar Allan Poe Museum in Richmond, Virginia. Now, we did this interview, which I will try to show tomorrow. There were some technical errors on my end, not his end, so we'll get to that tomorrow. Also, later today, in fact, later in this segment, in fact, just here in a couple of minutes, we'll have this piece, Giant Snakes on the San Juan River, with J.C. Johnson. Another guy I've spent a lot of time with in chat rooms. Never met him face to face, but I like the way he works. I think you will too. Also, we have later in today's program a story about Captain Midnight. And if anyone was around and had HBO in 1986, you might remember Captain Midnight and what he did to HBO for a few minutes. After all this time, most people have forgotten about it, but it ties into another story, so we'll see more of Captain Midnight today. Also, our Off the Wall program or segment or feature, whatever you want to call it, this one's a little weirder than usual. I think you'll enjoy it, if it can get any more weird than the usual. And of course, we have our daily double dose of Temerity Magazine. And today we have one from Chad Everson himself, as well as one from Ian Hughes. Now, both of those guys are just fantastic at this whole treasure hunting stuff, identifying odd objects found while looking for whatever they're looking for. But right now, let's go to J.C. Johnson and the giant snake.
This would be very near the area back in 2003 that a large black snake in the water following one of the kayaks. We pulled up under a little section of trees and kind of waited. I thought it might be a beaver or an otter. As we sat there, the sound kept coming toward us, then it quit. And then I looked again, and I saw basically a coil come up out of the water, and it slimed this girl's arm. And the coil was probably about this big around. It was black, and it had like python markings. I can't explain. It was a super quiet night last night, real quiet out here. Nothing visited the camp as far as I can tell yet this morning. Wind's picking up a little bit. I'm going to check a few places downriver. This is March 18th, 2007. Something's been dragging up out of the river here. We got a little trail. Looks like a snake trail too. Fairly large. You can look at the pattern too. I lost his trail somewhere in here. Fairly deep impressions too. I would think it'd be a fairly large snake. Probably not the 25-footer we're looking for, but pretty large.
This would be a rock drawing from Clear Creek, just outside of Winslow, Arizona. It's pretty obvious to me, as they're depicting all the other wildlife in this pictograph, they're also depicting a very, very large snake.
We were here less than a week ago, the same area. One of the people with me witnessed a black snake with his head up out of the water, surfing style, swimming, and then submerge. About a quarter mile downriver, she saw another black snake come up out of the water and go up on the shore. They weren't huge, but they were black as night. I'd love to catch one, find out what these things are.
Down here in 2003, and one of our party said a snake was chasing her. It was March, and the water was like 45. I couldn't believe her, so we pulled off, and eventually a coil came up and slammed her arm. It was like an 18-inch coil. Was this a black snake your son saw?
I think it's a python or something like that.
Yeah, this one had python markings that we saw. And how big do you think it was?
I'd say it's about 20 feet long.
Okay. That's what I'm after. One of the things I'm after. And how long ago did they see him? When was this?
Last year.
Last year? And what time of year was it?
About summertime.
About summertime? And it's like 3 miles up from here, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where we saw it back in 2003. Unbelievable. And it was kind of blackish with python markings?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe probably more. Probably longer, maybe about 30 feet long or something like that.
And there's one of that size down by Hogback that one of my witnesses said he was with the Haglanis for a while. He woke up on 2 mornings and one of his buddies was gone, and they just saw snake tracks leaving the area. So, very interesting. They don't belong here.
What's that? Is that a movie? Are you making a movie out of it?
Yes, I am. Thank you for being in my movie. I'm drinking beer too. This is wonderful to hear that story, because it was about 3 miles up from here we had our encounter with that big black snake with python markings.
There's a bear. I heard there's a bear down there too. Bear.
And there shouldn't be.
Going rafting down there. You probably end up or seen it. You've heard that.
There shouldn't be bear down here. They don't belong here.
It comes in, comes and goes, so.
Shouldn't be here.
That snake is pretty long. I want to find it sometime. I'm gonna catch him. I don't know how to catch it.
Yeah, you harvest it, kill it. That's what I'm going to do when I come across. Probably need to work that area up there is what I need to do, is work that area.
Wow, I kind of wish JC had gotten some video of that snake, but just hearing the accounts is enough to get your blood flowing, I guess. And of course he found trails. That was not a small snake that went up that riverbank. So, today we have not only JC and some cryptozoology going on, but we also have this off-the-wall clip coming up that is the first one that involves UFOs on this show. As far as actual video. Is it real or is it Photoshop or Avid or After Effects or one of the other very sophisticated editing tools? I don't know the answer to that. I've looked at this one quite a bit, and if it is something devised on an editing machine, these folks need a job in Hollywood. So, for today's off-the-wall clip, here you go. I don't know. I still don't know. No matter how many times I look at that, I find things that argue against it being something made on an editing machine. But we have a number of other stories coming up here on the Oompa Loompa Cafe here on the 16th of January 2013. So stay with us.